Hey, Sean, how you doing
Hey,
today?
how you doing?
Very good. How about
Good.
yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for joining this and doing this with us today. And before we get too far into it, can you tell me a little bit about Optum and your role so that the viewers can understand what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Optum is a subsidiary of United Health Group, dealing mainly in managed care, both fee for service and risk. And my role at Optum is part of the finance innovation team. So we're responsible for the automation to all of the financial reporting or suite of tools,
Right.
and providing reporting to C-suites, the leadership teams, finance teams, and accounting teams. And yeah, we're really just responsible for all of the data automation, maintenance of those systems, et cetera.
So pretty much anything to do with data automation and reporting for the finance across the board, across the enterprise and everything for the different CFOs. And how are you guys managing through this crazy times and the whole work from home initiatives? How's that been going?
Been doing pretty well. Our team does a good job of communicating, and we're really good about touching base when anybody has any questions or needs help with anything. So that makes things pretty easy. But it's an adjustment from a personal standpoint, but I think we're all managing pretty well. So yeah, not too bad, but
Has
definitely
the
not ideal.
has the COVID situation affected sort of this automation reporting that you have for the financials across the enterprise? Has that been affected at all due to this and the work from home?
Honestly, not really. For thank goodness we have SnapLogic, and we kind of did our due diligence beforehand, and not before like COVID happened, but we had all our ducks in a row before this, and we never have to really rely on everything since it's in the cloud. So honestly, there hasn't even been a hiccup in
Yeah.
any of our reporting or anything like that. So it's honestly been a really smooth transition for both our team, and SnapLogic's kind of enabled the business side of things to keep running smoothly, which has been really great, especially for teams that are dependent on that data, especially now that the CFOs are asking for data a little bit sooner than they normally would have been. So if we were unprepared, that would have been kind of a disaster.
Yeah, right. And then because of the COVID and you being a healthcare provider, and have there been more projects that have been kind of put through SnapLogic due to this, and how are those going potentially? Are you getting what you need in terms of the data to kind of help support initiatives being asked by the CFOs or potentially across the enterprise due to COVID? And how's that been? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, interestingly enough, financials are always important for any and every company. It's an absolute requirement. Any CFO will want to know their financials at the drop of a hat.
Right.
But after this COVID stuff's kind of started happening, it's been that much more imperative. They've really, really wanted financials at incredibly ad hoc times. So SnapLogic's been phenomenal from the standpoint of we are able to get that stuff whenever we need to, and really kind of build these powerful reports for them, slice and dice the data however they want it, and then deliver it directly to them via SnapLogic, which has been really huge. We've actually set up a couple of ad hoc pipelines that actually send the data directly to these CFOs on a regular cadence, or we can do it on an ad hoc basis with triggered tasks. So it's been really great.
So,
It's helped
obviously,
tremendously.
from your perspective, I know you've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years to automate these processes through SnapLogic, and from my understanding now is it's not been affected through, even though people are not in the office, you're still operating as usual because a lot of that has been automated. So, like, what would you say in terms of the current situation? Any lessons that you've learned because of how you guys were proactive and in your investments into technology like cloud technology like SnapLogic and others? For your reporting tools. I'm sure anything you can kind of share with the audience around like best practices or lessons learned around this time, and how you're able to kind of leverage and still operate your business remotely, and maybe some other people can kind of gain insight from your perspective on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, I mean, it's a little bit late now, but be prepared, because this happened so quickly that had we not had our ducks in a row, and had we not kind of had our needs met from working with the IT group and getting everything set up so that we could be totally cloud-based. Beforehand, this would have been a disaster, an on-prem disaster. So really just kind of getting everything aligned and being prepared. It's always going to be easier if you can access things from the cloud. So I would say absolutely try to get on the cloud as much as you can. I know a lot of companies have on-prem systems, but as much as you can be prepared, because anything like this could happen anytime, I guess, as
Right.
we learned. I would really just say being prepared is probably the most important thing, and allowing your teams to have access to systems from wherever is important, because
Right.
we had a guy that had a baby recently, and he was actually out for a month before this COVID stuff even happened. He never even went in, he came back into the office. So, but he was still able to work during that time because we were completely cloud. So I would say just as much as you can, try to be prepared for anything like this happening. Don't be tethered to any on-prem stuff as much as possible.
I agree with you 100%. I think for companies even like SnapLogic, we've been fairly operational because we're a cloud-first company and we kind of practice what we preach. All of our internal or systems and processes have been automated to a point where they can be run remotely, or people can kind of get answers wherever they're from, and they don't necessarily have to be tied to a desk within the office space. So I think that's likewise with Optum at this point, especially with the finance innovation team, which you're a part of. So I really want to thank you again for taking the time to kind of get on this quick call with me to check in and just tell us a little bit about how things have been from your perspective. So I really want to thank you, Sean, for doing this. We look forward to supporting you through these times and, of course, through the better times that are going to come in the future. So, stay tuned. And thanks again for taking a part in this video blog series.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks.